Hello and welcome to another beautiful day here in sunny Nova Scotia, and welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Gardener. My name is Steve Farley. So November the 2nd or 3rd I think it is, and the only leaves left on any of the trees around my garden are on this beautiful birch and the other beautiful birches that I have around the garden. The maples have shed everything and we've had quite a few days of frosts here now. So whatever summer flowering plants, bulbs, corms that I had have all well and truly been hit now. And my canna lilies, obviously, as you can see here, they've been hit by the frosts now. So as soon as the frosts have hit the cannas and the gladioli, etc., it's time to lift them. So as you can see, I've got a few cannas that I've already chopped up here. And I've got this canna that was in a pot. And it's time to put them to bed. So what do we do? Well, the first thing we want to do is obviously dig them out of the ground. So these ones were in the ground, and I've got this one here that was in this pot. So I'm going to take this one apart and do the traditional thing, because I live in zone 6. Most of you that have watched the channel know that, and so we're going to get quite a cold winter here in Nova Scotia. And excuse me. And apparently this year is going to be a very cold winter, so I definitely want to bring these cannas in. So what we're going to do is get all this compost off the canna. Cool, I'll tell you what, it's tight in on these roots. So I'll get all of this, and don't worry about if you're tearing the roots, because all the goodness is in the actual corms themselves. So this one's quite damp because it's rained as well the last couple of days, as well as being frosty. So imagine we'll take all of this earth off here, and then we'll also cut off the stems, leave about an inch. So we cut these all back. These can go in the compost heap, or if you saw my video from last week, you can make a composting trench, chop these up nice and short, stick these in the composting trench. I think the link's up there on the screen. So what we do now is we're getting rid of as much of the earth here as possible, but then we'll just leave it out to dry for several days, a good week. A good week, let all the compost dry, let the bulb itself dry. So we'll leave that for a week. And then, fortuitously, I have some I prepared earlier. They sort of look like this. So then, all we want to do is just brush and pull off the rest of the earth that's on the corms. Chop the rest of the foliage off down to about an inch. Now you can trim the roots up if you want to, but I'm going to leave them on because I'm a great believer in trying to leave things as much in their natural state as possible. So even though obviously taking them out of the ground is not exactly their natural state, I try as much as possible. So we get rid of all the dirt. That's just about it. Let's give that a little brush off. That's nice and dry now, nice, just about as clean as it needs to be. Right, I'll carry on and do the rest of these, and then I'll come right back. So these are all cleaned off now, dusted off as much as I think they need to be. Quick point, these 6 cannas all came from one big canna root that I had at the start of the year, and I think there's a link up there now, shows you how to split cannas, etc. You could do it at this time of year. I prefer to do it in the spring, because then I know that wherever I'm going to split, I want to see a little bit of growth first. So then I know that even though I believe here now I could actually split that down the middle, once the spring comes and you get some new growth coming, I know that wherever I split it, there's going to be some growth. You'll see a little bit coming out. So we'll wait till the spring for that. So what do we do next? Next, we are going to get them ready for storage. Now, as I said, I like to keep them in their natural state as possible. So what I've done is I've got a big box of dried, nice dry compost. And all I'm going to do is stick them in there. Get them in there down nice and deep. There's different types of mediums you can put your bulbs in. Some people use dry compost, some people use perlite, etc., that sort of stuff. Something nice and dry, and other people use newspaper, torn up newspaper. So what I thought I'd do is do a bit of an experiment. You know, I like an experiment. So I thought I'd store a couple in the newspaper this year and see how they turn out. There's also sawdust, you can do sawdust. So what I'm going to do, put all these in here, nicely covered, and then I'm going to store this in a dark, frost-free place, probably under my stairs. Gets a bit nippy down there, until the springtime. And as we're getting close to the snow's melting, etc., I'm going to bring them out, pop them up, and then I'll start to grow them on, and hopefully, like I said, there'll be some growth around the different points, and I can split maybe a few of them and increase my plants again. And the same with the newspaper. I'll store them in that cool, frost-free place, nice and dark, for the winter. And hopefully, I've been okay so far in my storing of cannas, they'll be all right, ready for a beautiful tropical display next year. Job's a good one.